One of the things I wanted to talk to you about today is the power of perspective. Now, all of us somehow don't see the whole picture of reality. We see some aspect of reality, we see a small portion of reality and try to make sense of it and create a story based on what we see. With limited perspective and limited knowledge, we have a perspective on things, which is essentially our opinion about it. But what we don't realize is that reality is so much larger than what we can actually grasp, what we see and what we interpret. So essentially what really is happening, we are having a biased interpretation of reality based on our limited view. And thus we have a biased story. We don't have the full picture of reality. And that is limiting us. We truly believe that our biased stories are reality, where in fact they're just one small aspect of reality from our own limited perspective, or from the limited perspective of our community or our groups. So in order to counteract this limitation, we can go through a process. We can actually go through a process where we can gain a high level of wisdom, insight, and knowledge about reality through a process where we can actually identify the reality, as obviously reality has, there's so much we can know, but enhance our awareness and understanding of reality by incorporating multiple perspectives, through inquiry, asking quality questions, by talking to different people, but really sitting down and understanding things. And then from there, trying to understand what we can do. So the process is as follows. The first process is actually being calm, curious, and compassionate. And this is very important, because if we are not in a state of calm, curiosity, and compassion, we'll be criticizing ourselves, others, situations, and we'll just constantly be being stuck in problems. And it's very hard to come out of that state to be able to understand the problems and solve them more effectively. So instead of calm, curiosity, and compassion, step 0, because we always start with that step. And the second step, which is really essentially the first step of the process, is asking ourselves, is what we see, is what we think that is the reality? Is it actually true? Do we need to verify the facts? Do we need to inquire? Do we need to take multiple perspectives in order to gain a deeper understanding of this situation? If it is true, well, we want to understand, why is it the case? What is causing the phenomena? What is causing this problem? What are the root causes of the problem? So that we can really tackle the root cause rather than fix things on a surface level manner. And step 3 is, what can I do about it? Now I know it's true. I know the reasons why it's the case. So the step 3 is, what can I do about it? What can I do about it? So this 3-step process started with a state of calm, curiosity, and compassion, identifying truths, understanding the causes of things, and then asking ourselves, what can we do about it now that we know the reality of the situation, the root causes. The first 2 steps is very much about awareness and understanding of reality. And the last step is the opportunity to solve or accept, because sometimes we can't resolve something immediately at that moment. So we just have to accept it as it is. So let's look at each step. Well, the first step, or the step 0, really, initial step, is, am I calm, curious, and compassionate? And if I'm not, how do I get myself from a state of frustration, anger, even sometimes rage, to a state of calm, curiosity, and compassion? And I'd like to share with you the power of the breath, something we carry with us everywhere, something that we can use to anchor ourselves in the present moment and become more compassionate, curious, and calm by simply becoming aware of our own breathing, by simply becoming aware of the sensations of the breath at this present moment. The second step, or step 1 really, is is what does this story I've created, this bias story, is it actually true? Can I inquire it further? Can I take perspectives? How can I really understand the whole reality, not just a little fraction that I can see through the media, through colleagues and friends and family, through my little community who also has the same kind of similar beliefs and perspectives as I. Perhaps I do need to venture and talk to people outside this little community. Perhaps I do need to switch channels and see things from a different perspective so that I can gain a deeper understanding. And remember, before you do that, you do need to be curious, calm, and compassionate, because if you're not curious, calm, and compassionate, you won't be open to different perspectives. You won't be open to trying to change and influence the story that you've created in your head. So that's really important. Step 0 is extremely important for step 1 and for all the other consecutive steps as well. So have you ever thought you were absolutely right about something only to later discover you're wrong? Probably you have experienced that. I've certainly experienced that multiple times throughout my life, where I was absolutely sure about this story that I had created in my head, only to later realize that it was actually completely inaccurate. It was false. At worst, completely the opposite of what I thought, and at best, it was inaccurate information, inaccurate judgment. So is the story true? Can I absolutely be sure it is true? You can ask yourself these 3 questions. Is the story true? Can I absolutely be sure it is true? Now, if your answer to question 1 is yes, I think question 2 will really help you gain a deeper perspective on the reality of the truth of your story. And most times you realize it is just an opinion and a perspective, an expectation, just a belief. It has nothing to do with reality and truth. And the third question is, what additional perspectives and information would I need to consider to update the truth of the matter? Do I need to ask different people about the situations to gain deeper perspective? And when I say different people, I mean very different people, not just the people in my circle or my team, but actually people from outside of my circle and outside my team, specifically those who have a very different perspective and often opposing perspective, opposing views. And remember, you got to bring that compassion, curiosity, and openness to this. You need to be calm when you do this process. If you're not going to get anywhere. In fact, you're starting to defend yourself and attack people when you go through this process if you're not in a state of calm, curiosity, and compassion. The second thing you can do is to listen with care, compassion, and curiosity. You've got to bring those attitudes into this process. Step 2, why is it so? So let's say now we know the truth of the matter. We've gained different perspectives. We have inquired, we've revised our story with a more accurate version of what we think is the right perspective. In fact, you will probably never get completely close to truth and reality, but we can continuously update the version of our story, which is often very biased, to something less biased and more accurate, more perspectives and more knowledge, and we'll be able to be in a better position to really know the truth. Once we do, we want to know why it's the case. What is causing this phenomenon? What is causing this problem? Can we go deeper? We've got to really expand our awareness. And this step requires some form of what we call systems thinking. And we'll have a look at some of the tools that we have for this. But there are 3 things we need to look. What is the root cause of this problem? What are the factors that contribute to this? And how can I better understand the cause and effect? Now, in systems thinking, there is something called the iceberg model. So the iceberg model is very much around, we see some stuff happening on the surface level and we react to it. But let's go deeper and understand what are the trends and patterns that are taking place over time and respond to the situation rather than react. So that response is more effective than reaction because we're actually looking at behaviors and patterns and trends and addressing it at that level. But it's not as sustainable as going even deeper, looking at deeper structures that are causing those patterns and trends to take place? What are the deeper systems that are causing certain behaviors and trends and patterns? And then we can redesign some of those systems so that we have more favorable patterns, more favorable outcomes. But that's not even at the lowest level. We can go even deeper and understand mental models, belief systems of people, to understand what is causing the belief systems to create certain structures that result in certain outcomes. And when we really tackle the mental models and really address our belief systems and our views and perspectives that are potentially flawed or uninformed, we can cause transformation. So all the new structures and processes and behaviors are a result of a much deeper transformation that takes place at the level of the mind and the heart. Another process that we can use is called the 5 Whys model. And the 5 Whys was developed by Sakichi Toyoda, who was actually the son of Toyota, the founder of the Toyota Motor Company. This simple process was used by the Toyota Motor Company as part of the Toyota production system for improving quality. And it's very simple. All it is about asking 5 whys. Why is this happening? Okay, why is that happening? Or why is that happening? 5 times to really go down to the root cause of an observed phenomenon or problem. So step 3 is, what can I do about it? Now I know the root. I know the truth of the matter, or at least very close to it. I understand the root causes of it. What can I do about it? Can I do anything about it? Now that I understand the situation, can I influence the situation? Is there anything I can do at this present moment? And sometimes the answer is no. There's nothing we can do. So we simply accept it. So if there is something we can do, we will do it. And if there isn't anything we can do, we obviously have to accept it. And that's a very simple process. Of course, we can go deeper into, okay, what are some solutions? And, crowdsource solutions, work with others to really come up with a solution. And you may even go through that process and realize there is very little that can be done. And the only thing that can really be done at some point is just simply accepting it. Non-acceptance of reality, non-acceptance of a situation is a direct pathway to suffering and pain. And that's just the way it is. When you internally not accept reality, you just cause more suffering to yourself. If there's nothing that can be done, acceptance is the only sane pathway to peace and being able to get through things. And at some point, perhaps in the near future, there will be an opportunity to solve things. But at this moment, perhaps the only thing that can be done is acceptance. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. So thank you so much for your time listening to this video about how do we solve problems from a state of calmness, compassion, and curiosity. How do we go deeper into understanding the reality of situations? And how do we either accept or do something about it if there is a possible solution out there? Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.